So, hello everyone, and welcome to Futurepreneurs. We are very happy to be back with this new format. Some of you already know this, but for those who don't, I just want to tell that Futurepreneurs is now completely online. All of our training material is free and available on our website, and our final event, Demo Day, will be held online as well. Therefore, I invite all guest viewers to take part in our wild cards competition. So all you have to do is submit your sustainable business idea, and you might win a chance to pitch it at the final event and compete for the prizes along our participants. So if you're interested, you can find more information about this on our Facebook page. And now, without further ado, I want to introduce the lector of this workshop. So Rasa Verkauskaitė-Kazanskienė is a corporate banking project manager at Swedbank Lietuvoje, and today she will share with you her knowledge and insights about business financials. Feel free to type your questions in the Zoom chat, and Rasa will answer those at the end of the workshop. So Rasa, please share your screen, and the virtual stage is yours.
Okay, so thank you, Julia, for presenting me. Hello, everyone. It's really an unusual not to see you, not to hear you, and to have this workshop online. But today we have a really great day, so I hope that you're all in a good mood, that you feel really enthusiastic and have a lot of energy and motivation to move forward with your own business ideas. And actually, this workshop was postponed for 1 month. Therefore, for me, it is very interesting to hear where are you now at the moment. This is why I'm inviting you at the moment to just answer to a couple of questions. And how you can to answer to them, just type an answer in the Zoom chat. So, the first question. The workshop was postponed for 1 month. Have you had an idea during this 1 month? Just an idea, no action, just an idea that it would be valuable to stop, to take time and to maybe make some kind of forecast of your business case, or to analyze your business financials, something related to the financials, just to make for your own business case. Just an idea. Have you had such? Just please write in the chat yes or no. That's it, just one number. And it will help me as well to understand that I am not here alone, that you are here with me. So we are all in this together. So please. Not yet, but soon. Okay. It's so nice to see your answers. I have a chat here because it's really weird not to see you guys. Okay. I see that there are several who really had an idea that it would be valuable to start to do something with the financials of your business case. So the second part of the question, have you done this? Have you actually done the action and spent some time in analyzing your business financials, or just making some kind of forecast? Again, just an answer, yes or no, with no explanation in the Zoom chat. Come on, don't leave me here alone. Okay, thank you for those who answered. You really helped me to feel here like in a team, because we have the same goal here today. So the ones who, we have several, I believe, who had an idea to analyze its business financials and actually did that. So I hope that you will find some new ideas how to make it better. And for those who haven't done that, I believe that in most cases, when I ask about why companies do not start working on the financials, the answer is that it is very difficult, that there is a lot of numbers, and even more numbers, and therefore we just even don't start. So today I'm going to gather my all 15 years experience actually in Swedbank, 12 years in financing companies, and I will do my best to present you all the information in the simplest way, as simple as possible and understandable. And let's move forward. Today we have one question that we would like to answer, and the question is, how much money do you need for the first year of your business? So as I said, we are here like a team today because we have the same goal, and it seems very simple because the answer requires just one number. But as you will see, financials, business financials, your company's financials is not just about the numbers. And in order to answer to this question, I'm inviting you to follow me through 5 steps, to make 5 steps. What kind of steps are those? The first one, context evaluation. The second one, revenue forecast. Third, cost forecast. Break-even point analysis, the fourth one. And the last one, it's something important to remember, but I will tell you about it in the end of our workshop. It's like a cherry on a cake, it will be in the end. So, the first step, context evaluation. Why it is important and why we are talking about it. For example, 1 month ago, I got a proposal to lead the workshop by business financials, which I am today. And I needed to evaluate the context in order to understand, can I do this? I needed to understand who are the participants, who you are. I needed to understand what kind of goal do you have, what you need, what you want, willing to know, what kind of knowledge you need. Then I had to evaluate that we will have our workshop in English. Can I speak in English? Do I have a knowledge and experience I can share with you and create a value for you? What else? I was informed that we will be in the rocket and we will have a live meeting. And I was preparing a presentation in order to inspire you, to have as much questions in order to involve you, to get your businesses better, to communicate with you. And then reality happens, COVID-19, and we have online workshop. And again, I need to evaluate the context and to change the presentation and to change my willingness to communicate with you, to know more about your businesses, to interact with you a lot. I cannot make all these things without context evaluation. So then the same is about the business. If you are creating a product, you have to evaluate all the situation. And maybe let's be more specific. In context evaluation, I would suggest you to evaluate such cases. First of all, evaluate your team. What are the main competencies, knowledge, experience you need in order to run your business? And what kind of competencies, experience have your team? Is it in line, or maybe you need other additional team members in order to cover it? Why it is important? For example, in the beginning of this year, I had a meeting of 2 fintech companies which are going to provide its card acquiring services in Lithuania as well. And both companies are going to provide the same product. And in the first meeting, we were asking a lot of questions about business model, about the product service we are going to provide, about all the procedures, how we are going to onboard the clients. And actually, we were surprised that we got all the answers. And it was interesting to listen to the client because he told us much more than we as a bank representative know about acquiring about these services and products. And what it showed that the team members who are sitting in front of us are actually the experts of the business they are going to make. In the meeting with the second company, we had a little bit different situation because team members were not able to answer to any deeper questions. They know the basics about the product, about the services, about what they want to do in the market, but they was not ready to answer to more deeply questions. As a result, the first client from the first meeting is the client of Swedbank today. With the second one, we haven't had a chance to start this business cooperation because we couldn't believe in the business idea they are starting. So what does it mean? It means that the experience, your ability to evaluate your team members is very important. What else? It is very important to be sure that all your team members are on the same page. One of the reasons why companies fail is because their team, their leaders, shareholders have different views on the company, have different values, and even different targets, goals. In such case, they separate and company falls down. So be sure that all your team members are on the same page. They are reaching for the same goals and sharing the same values. It is very important because then you will go with your team to the bank, to the business partners, to the clients. They will feel and they will buy from you, and they will invest into your company or give you a loan if they will feel that they are talking with really competent team members. So first of all, I recommend you to evaluate your team members. What kind of experience, knowledge do they have? Is it enough? And are all members on the same page? The second is your product and service. It seems so simple, and I already know that you had even a workshop a little bit about the products, so I won't go into deeper here, but the main message just to understand what is your product and service, what are you going to provide to the market, because well, it seems so simple, but we had even such case when we read 50 pages of business plan, and in the end you turn to the colleague and asking what kind of products they are going to provide and what are the main services they are going to enter in which market. So just be sure that you are specific here, and then look around. Who are your main competitors in the market? Maybe there are no such company that provide equal product as you do, but maybe similar ones. In such case, you can learn from them. You can just analyze what are the products they sell, and where is the gap you see between the product they are selling and the client, what he wants to get, and you can fill this gap. So evaluate your competitors, your nearest competitors, and not only in Lithuania. Evaluate the competitors worldwide in order to have a vision where you can grow. And when you analyze your competitors, you become able to evaluate your competitive advantages. And it is very important in the sales process. And in this case, I would like to recommend you not to stay in the upper level and go a little bit deeper. For example, the same example with fintech companies, because actually I'm working with payment service providers, so with electronic money institutions which are coming into Lithuania. I always asking one question for all. What are the competitive advantages of your company? Why I have to buy your product or services, not your competitors? And during last year, I would say that maybe 7 out of 10 companies answered that their competitive advantage is exceptional services and good prices. So the question for me here, that if 7 out of 10 of your competitors say the same competitive advantages, so this is a competitive advantage or it's a market standard? So in this case, what I said, don't stay here, go deeper and try to understand the real competitive advantages of your company, of your product, of your services, why I have to buy your product. And it will be really a help for you in sales products, in sales process. Second, when we are already talked about the clients, so evaluate who are your clients. I believe that you are can be energetic and optimistic and say that we can sell to the worldwide, all person in the world want to buy our product or service. That's okay, but I would suggest to start with small steps. Just pick maybe a smaller group of the clients you are going to target, priority 1, priority 2, just from the smaller scope. This would help for you to make an assumptions how much clients you can reach per day, per week. You have to call them or you have to travel to meet them. It will really help for you in assumptions, and we will be talking about it a little bit later. Suppliers and service providers are a part that I would like to suggest you to evaluate why it is important. In the bank, when we are talking with a company, with existing clients or new ones about the possibility to get a loan, to provide a loan, we are always asking, who are your main suppliers or service providers? And we are evaluating how dependent you are on your suppliers. For example, we have why it is important. For example, now we have COVID-19 situation in Lithuania, and we have companies which main suppliers were in China, and we had issues in changing their suppliers in a short term. So what you need to look here? Firstly, to evaluate how dependent you are on suppliers. Secondly, who you can choose as for a change and how fast you can do this. This is an important part because in this case, you evaluate context, and what more, you evaluating your own business from all of the sides. And you identify the risk, for example, that you can lose your main supplier, and you even search for the decisions, how you can solve this risk situation. Regulations and legal requirements. In Lithuania, in all other countries, when you are entering, evaluate the regulations in that country. Sometimes evaluate even the projects that are going to be approved. For example, there are really some kind of regulations where we can see as an example. For example, plastic bags. We are now moving forward to paper bags, and there are some new regulations to the plastic ones, plastic, all what is related to the plastic. So you have to evaluate it. For example, if you are going to enter the plastic market manufacturing. And as I mentioned, market. Evaluate where are you, what are the main markets you are going to enter, and are there some kind of specifics in this market. For example, companies which are going to Nordic countries, they have special team members in Sweden, for example, because they say that Sweden don't buy from the ones who speaks in English or in Lithuanian. They buy just from those who are local. So it means that you need to evaluate, firstly, which are the markets that you are going to enter. And secondly, what are the specifics in this market, what you have to evaluate and maybe change in your business model. And the last one is sustainability. I know that you had a workshop about sustainability, so I won't tell here much, but again, today we are talking about product, about the services, and clients need to want to buy those products and services we are suggesting. And nowadays, it is more and more important that your business would be sustainable, that clients are choosing to buy products or services that are green, eco, or from the companies that act as a sustainable company. So evaluate it as well, but I believe that you already done this after the workshop you had before. So context evaluation, you see there's no numbers. There was no numbers in step number 1, but the context evaluation gives you important insights here. So the first one, you, as I already mentioned, you evaluate your business from all of the sides, and you show that for your investors, possible investors, business partners, you show that you not just selling your business idea, but you evaluated it from all the sides, and you identified the main risk that your business is related with, and you even found the solutions how to mitigate those risks. It shows that you understand your business fully, and that you can gain trust of your business partners. You can be trusted in this case. And the second one is the fact that when we are talking about forecast, I will say it later again, it's not about the numbers. It's about the assumptions. And in order to make an assumptions, you need to understand your business very well. For example, if you need to calculate how much you will sell your products, you need to know the market where you're going to sell it, how many clients, who are the clients of yours, how many clients, how you can reach them. So it's the basic for your assumptions. So it's the basic for our next step. Step number 1, context evaluation. So it's before all the numbers, just make it in order to understand your business, and even maybe to find new angles which you never thought about. Practice for you, not now, but maybe later when you will gather your team in one place and you will have a discussion. So evaluate your company's context, how strong and unique your team. As I mentioned, maybe you need some kind of additional person who have to cover a really important competences. Who are your main competitors? It is very good if you are the only one with your product and services, but it's more likely that you have near competitors. So just evaluate them, because they will help you to find your product and services competitive advantages. And this is the next thing that I suggest you to evaluate competitive advantages. And again, don't stay here. Go deeper and understand the exact unique competitive advantages of yours. Who are your suppliers, service providers, and the possibility to switch? And what are the market conditions and how it affects your business? So you can use these questions, or you can use this part, all the context with all the parts. Just think about your own company, your business, and go through them. Step number 2, revenue forecast. It's easy when we're talking about the past and analyzing past numbers and forecast, and it's a little bit tricky when we're talking about the future. But before talking about the forecast, let's be sure that we all on the same page and we all understand what does it mean revenues. So how we calculate revenues? Revenues is equal price of goods or services sold multiply on number of units sold. Seems simple like that. So, but before going forward with forecast, I would suggest you to think about the questions. How much time you need in order to release your product and services? We have to understand that in business, it is possible when you're starting a business, it is possible that there will be some period of time which you need in order to develop your product, to create your product. I don't know what kind of businesses you have. And it is possible that for first 6 months or maybe 4 months, or you need to spend on creating your product, and it's already a start of your business. The second question, are there any seasons in your business? For example, ice creams, the highest ice cream sales is in the summer. So evaluate, are there any season in your business? Why it is important? Because when you will be making a forecast of the revenues, you have to evaluate it. Maybe your highest revenues sales are going to be in the spring, and you will have a worse situation in winter. So evaluate and consider, are there any possibilities that you will have seasons in your business model? The third question, how are you going to make your sales? It will be direct sales, or you're going to make organized sales through distributors, agents, partners. In this case, it is important because the strategies of the sales is very different, and the staff you need in this case is different, because in direct sales you need to have your own sales team. In distributors, agents, partners, you have just to think about in which countries you need those partners, how many partners you need, and it will affect the revenues forecast. What is the price of your product? The next question I would suggest you to answer, because as we saw the formula before, in order to calculate the revenues, you need to know the price of your product. And again, about sales strategy, what is your sales strategy? It's related to the question, direct or indirect sales are you going to make? Because if you are going to make indirect sales, In such case, you do not need to make a lot of calls, visits, and emails. You just need to work with your distributors and with your partners. In our case, if you have direct sales, you have to set some targets to think how much clients is your target clients, how much of them you can reach per day, per week, and how are you doing to do that? Are you going to email? Are you going to call? Or maybe you want to meet each of your clients, and if your clients in another country, you have to travel. So the number of the clients you can reach will be very different, dependent on the sales strategy that you will decide to use. So those are the questions which I really recommend to think about, to go through in order to understand how are you going to act and what you have to evaluate, for example, seasonality of your business. And revenue forecast, what it is about. So it's quite simple. First of all, you need to name how many units are you going to sell each month. In this case, we see that first 4 months, from January to April, there are no sales at all. This is because as I mentioned before, you have to evaluate how much it will take for you to launch your product or service. So in this case, we have 4 months that no sales are going to come, and we are just launching our product. And just in May, we are starting our sales in indirect way. As you see, there are no units sold directly. It means that we are, in this example, it is decided to make sales indirectly through partners. And what else is important in this case, to evaluate that the price of the product, of the same product, the services that you're going to sell directly or indirectly differs. Because if you sell directly, all profit margin goes to you. If you sell indirectly, you have to leave a part of the profit to your business partners that they would be interested in selling your product. So the price differs if you are selling product by yourself, by your own sales team, or you're going to sell through business partners. So this is one more thing to evaluate. And in such case, with such an assumptions, we have this revenue forecast. And again, in this case, it's just a numbers. And actually, there's a lot of cases when, in all cases, when we're talking with companies about new loans, about financing possibilities, I'm asking them to present revenue forecast. And usually I get this email with an Excel file with a name, business financial forecast or revenue forecast for the bank. And I'm opening this file, and there's just numbers. And after that, I'm sending additional email with the question: please provide the main assumptions of that numbers. I'm not an expert, and the bank representatives or investors are not the experts of your business. You are the expert here. You made all context evaluation. You know all the possibilities, all what are you going to reach, how you're going to do that. So the numbers is as a result of all of your assumptions. So numbers without assumptions says nothing. For example, we have companies which are telling, and now we are dealing with one company which would like to get financing, and they're telling that they are going to increase their sales by 30% in this year. And it seems incredible good result, taking in mind that we have even COVID-19 situation. And what we are doing, we are asking for an assumptions for us to understand why companies see such revenue forecast. And how strong is your assumptions is based on analysis that you also, the context evaluation that you've done before. So what I want to say, when you are making a revenue forecast, actually here in the table we see just numbers, but all these numbers are made based on the assumptions. So you need to make all the context evaluation in order to be able to forecast those numbers. I mentioned you this file of Excel file which company sent us, and again, the name of the file, revenue forecast of company X for the bank. And at that moment, I'm always smiling because I say that I really would like to get an email with a document who names revenue forecast of company X for management. Why I'm joking like that? Because usually companies, and I really suggest to have not just plan A, but when you are making revenue forecast, make plan A, B, C. Realistic, optimistic, and pessimistic. The fact that bank usually gets an optimistic one, and we have to challenge all the assumptions clients provide in order to go to the realistic one. The difference between all these plans can be even 20%. And what does it mean? For example, you made a target, how many units you are going to sell of your product. And you made a list of the clients you are going to reach and convert to your clients. And you made an assumption that 90% of all your rich clients will be converted to your actual clients, and you made assumptions based on that and calculations and forecasts. So this would be, I believe, an optimistic plan. And here you usually feel what are the possibilities that you lose some clients or you won't make some deals that you are planning. And in this case, you just change the results. How many rich clients are you going to convert to your real clients? And in this case, you get realistic. And the pessimistic one, if something unexpected happened, how it would affect your sales. For example, if you are going to 10 new clients, what would happen if you just take 2 or 3 of them? What does it show to you? In this case, you can see where is your bottom level. How is it your sales strategy that you have is enough? Maybe you will see that you have to increase the clients you reach, for example, or the scope of your clients, who are your clients, to make it much wider in order to reach the revenues you would like to. Because so just make sure that in every case, you do not make just one plan. Make it realistic, pessimistic, and optimistic. And if we are talking about the bank, for example, please send the realistic one. And this is important because when you provide your plans and you reach them, you gain trust that you are an expert in making assumptions and making a revenue forecast as well. So in this case, next time for you, it will be easier to get additional decisions you need in the bank or from your investor. Do not make such a mistake that you provide revenue forecast optimistic plan, and you say that this is really the realistic one, because at the end, that when you will have those realistic forecast as a fact, for you it will be hard to explain and to say that that you just sent an optimistic one to the bank. So just the tip here, always share the realistic plan, and just maybe share even both the realistic, the optimistic plan, and say in which cases it can go to the worst case scenario, to the pessimistic one. And actually, here we have to understand, we are not talking, the pessimistic plan is not about COVID-19 situation, some kind of pandemic situation. It's just about your business, about your cases and possibilities you see in your market. What else important to evaluate? Please keep in mind that revenues are not equal cash. And here we tell you my story. Don't tell anyone, please. When I started to work as a business customer manager, I had this big client, construction company, and we were discussing about maybe 2 million liters loan. It was a huge amount for the new business customer manager. And we were traveling with my colleague Nerijus Boyka to meet the client, and I was telling to my colleague the situation of the company. And it sounds something like that this is a very good company. It is very perspective, because they had 30 million sales last year, and they are going to have even 60 million sales this year, because we had a lot of construction projects and we already won it. So this is a great opportunity for us to give a loan for a prospective company. My colleague just listened to me and said a comment that I haven't understood at that time. He said that it's a risky situation if company is going to increase its sales 2 times, because company can have liquidity problems, cash flow problems. And at that time, I haven't understood what he had in mind. I haven't understood how it is possible that if a company has a huge sales growth, how it can affect that company would not be able to pay for the suppliers or even have financial problems. And this is the answer that I would like to share with you today, that you won't be in my place in your own business. So revenues are not equal cash. If you sell some product or services to your clients, it doesn't mean you got money. So in this case, you need to know your customers and its ability to pay. For example, in Lithuania, we have credit info, where you can check your other companies. Do they pay in time? Do they have any debts or court situations? You can buy even financial statements from the registry center and to evaluate how is your client is doing. And it is important to do. It is important to understand with whom you are doing business, because it's not only important to sell, it's as well, it is important to collect money. Today, I even have several clients who says that they benefit with a sales manager, not on the sales they made, but on the payments they collected, because this is as well a very important part. What else is important here? The timing when you will get your money. Of course, advance payments are always better. I mean, if you are going to sell product and your client will pay you in advance, is the best case scenario possible. But the tricky part that when you are a new company, newly established company, it is difficult to negotiate with your clients for them to pay in advance, because you need to gain their trust as well as they're yours. So if it is possible and you have very good negotiation skills, please do that and agree on advance payment. But if not, then agree on a short payment term as possible. It means that if you can agree on 30 days payment term, agree on the 30, not on the 90. The shorter payment term will be, the faster you will get your money into the account. And it is very important for your cash flow, because you have to pay salary for your workers, you have to pay for the rent, you have to pay for improvement of your product or services, for marketing. So collect payments. If you provide some services or products that, like internet, for example, or TV services, take annual payment, not monthly, but annual. It means the client will pay you for the year, for the whole year, and you will collect those money today. So if you can do that, do it. But if you have a really good client, a big one, that would help to boost your revenues so much, but they are standing on a long payment term and it is difficult for you to deal with that, in such case, consider factoring possibilities. What does it mean, factoring? In a very simple way, I would say that when you are providing a bill to your client with, for example, 90 days payment term, and you provide the same bill to the bank, the difference is the bank will pay you those money, the most part of it, 90% perhaps, in several days. And your client will pay to the bank after the 90 days. In this case, you will solve your cash flow problems. It means that if you have a huge product, a huge client that you would like to take, but you are not able to, you do not have such reserves, finance reserves, liquidity reserves to finance your client for 90 days, consider factoring possibilities, and it may help you to balance the cash flow of your company. So again, revenues is not equal to cash, and you have to be, if you are running your business, you have to be interested not about sales, but you have to know your clients, you have to understand their ability to pay and to collect payments. It is as important as to sell. So the next practice for you guys, when you will gather together with your team, based on all information that you heard before, make your own company's forecast for 12 months, at least for 12 months, but it will be good to make even for 24 months. Evaluate again. Then you will start selling. How many months you need in order to produce your product or services? How are you going to sell? Directly or indirectly? What will be the price of your product and services? And all this information just put in your revenue forecast. Again, don't start with revenue forecast with a table. Start with the analyzing and with the assumptions, and it will help you to fill this table of forecast. Okay, I'm here with myself. I hope you are with me. So Imagine such a business case. I buy components for 60 euros and make a small robot. And I sell this robot for 100 euros per unit. What do you think? How much profit do I make on each robot? Let's take half of a minute, and could you please share your ideas, your answers in our Zoom chat, and I will be able to see that again I'm not here alone. So the question is, I buy components for 60 euros and make a small robot, and I sell it for 100 euros per unit. How much profit do I make on each robot? Do someone has an answer that would like to share in the Zoom chat? Come on, don't leave me here alone. Okay, I'm not going to push you, but I will make an assumption, again, an assumption that, yeah. Okay, thank you for those who answered. Oh, you are really the smart one. I'm very happy with your answers. Thank you very much. Thank you for not leaving me here alone, and thank you for sharing, and thank you for understanding that the answer is not 40 euros. Yes, you all right who answered, because our direct material cost is just one part of the variable cost we have in each product or service we are providing. Bonuses and commissions, transactions fees, it's all included. From the beginning, what does it mean, variable cost? Variable cost, it means that with the growth of the volumes of our sales, the cost goes up as well. For example, legal cost. If you need to prepare some kind of exceptional contract with your clients because you made a huge new deal, and general contract is not suitable for the client, you need to get lawyers' time and to get a new contract, and it means you will have variable cost, legal costs. If you are going to take some client of services and you have to travel to this client, or you are going to participate in some kind of international events where you can find new clients, it's travel costs that will be related to those sales. Transactions fees, if you are going to sell on the internet and you have to pay some kind of banks fees, for example, when you are making a sale through a card acquiring, for example. So there's a number of variable costs that are directly related with the volumes of the sales. The higher sales, the higher variable costs. It's directly related. And when you analyze your own company, I really suggest you to evaluate what are the key variable costs in your organization. The second part that you already mentioned, salaries, for example. Yes, those are the fixed costs. It means that it doesn't matter how much you are going to sell, you will have to cover fixed costs. For example, we all need CEO, CFO in our companies, and we have to pay salary for them. We all need to make accounting, and we have costs here as well. It doesn't matter we sold something already or not. We have to pay for the office, for utilities. Maybe we need to get some kind of licenses. So those are the costs which we are not related to the sales. You start business and you have those costs. And those are the key, the fixed costs. So for you as a task, again, to think with your team, what are the key fixed costs in your organization, in your business model. And we can have a comparison of how it looks like a company has only fixed cost and only variable cost. And actually today we have a situation of COVID-19, and companies who have more variable costs are doing a little bit better from a financial perspective compared with those who has only fixed cost. Why? Because the sales of part of a companies because of a quarantine went down. And as well, if the main part of the cost are variable cost went down as well. So it means that the company is more flexible and can adapt the change situation much easier and faster. If you have a company where the main part of a cost only fixed costs, it means that for you it is harder to reduce your fixed costs. Maybe you have to close your office, to start working from home, or you need to have less employees in your company. So it's harder decisions that have to be made in order to reduce your fixed costs. So the idea here that if you can change your fixed cost to variable cost, do that. For example, at the beginning of the business, you do not need to buy office or you can rent it. And in such case, you will have variable cost. Or for example, if you need some kind of equipment for manufacturing, you do not need to buy all the equipment. You can rent it for the start, and you will be more flexible, and the bigger part of your cost will be variable costs. And what it is important here to share, I believe, when we talked about revenues, I said that revenues are not equal to cash. And you have to try to get payment as fast as possible from your clients. When we are talking about costs, we have payments to our suppliers and service providers. So in this case, my tip would be that you have to negotiate in order to get as long a payment term for your company as it is possible. I mean, if you are renting, for example, some kind of equipment, agree that you will pay maybe in 30 days, in 60 days, in 90 days with a delay. Not, for example, one time per week for the working hours. So it means that you have to think about the balance of your cash flow and to evaluate how fast your clients pay to you and how fast you can pay to your suppliers. And always negotiate, if you can, for a longer payment term for your suppliers and service providers. So finalizing about this one, 2 facts is important. The first one, if you can move your variable cost to fixed cost, do that. And the second one, negotiate with your service providers, with suppliers regarding the as long as possible payment term. And practice for you. Again, with your company, so practice and make your company's cost forecast for the 12 months. Again, just make a list of the fixed cost you are going to have, the variable cost you are going to have, And when you will make it, you then even can to compare how variable or how much of your cost, what is the percentage consists of variable cost, and what is the percentage of fixed costs. Again, it can differ in first month, because if you are going to sell your product only after 6 months, for example, because you are going to make your product, to manufacture it first 6 months. So in such case, maybe you do not need a sales team in the beginning, and you will have those costs later on. What else about the cost and the salaries? If you are as a main leader in the company, as a shareholder, for example, you are creating value in your own company, evaluate it. Of course, if you want to reduce the cost of your company, you can work for free for some time, but I would recommend you to evaluate your work as well and to pay the salaries in order to see the actual situation of your company. Just at the beginning, evaluate you as a worker as well, pay salary for yourself, and see how it is going with a company. We will see the final result, how it affects the final result. Because sometimes shareholders say that we are going to work for free and are not going to pay any salary, but you have to think about it, or you have to decide when you will stop it. So practice your cost forecast for 12 months of your company. Again, about the robots. How many robots I have to sell in order to cover costs and make a profit? Again, selling price per unit is 100 euros. Variable cost per unit is 60 euros and fixed cost 4,000 euros per month. In such case, I was trying to make a table with units sold per 50 units, but in other case, if you have a more difficult business case, the table you are going to have here will be really huge. So in order to answer to this question, I am offering you to calculate and to make break-even point analysis. What does it mean? You will evaluate you will calculate how much product or services you have to sell in order to cover all your costs. And the break-even point is equal to fixed costs per unit minus price minus unit variable costs. And in this case, we get a result that in order to cover all my costs with a robot, I have to sell 100 units for 100 euros per unit. And 10,000 euros are my break-even revenues that I have to reach. In this case, it's not just about the numbers. You have to evaluate how fast you can reach this break-even point. Our step number 4, break-even point. If you see that according to your sales projections, you need to sell 2-3 years. It takes 2-3 years of sales for you to reach a break-even point. If you have such a result, you have to come back, sit down, and think what can be changed, because it takes too long. You have to think that you have to reach a break-even point, maybe if not in the first year, so in the second year definitely. How to reach break-even point faster? In this case, you have to think, for example, what I would suggest, raise selling prices. I have one example from my childhood. I don't know how many years it was for me, maybe 5 or 6. I just got an idea that it would be very interesting to sell coffee in the local market. So I decided just to buy 5 packages of the coffee in the shop, to go to the market and to sell it by 10% at a price higher by 10%, and to make money in such a way. In the end of the day, of course, little kid in the market, I sold all the 5 coffee packages, but where was the problem? I got only 50 cents, and it haven't satisfied me. And at that time, I just figured it out that I need to raise the sales price in order to reach a higher profit. And of course, it was not possible to sell twice at a twice bigger price than the shop was near the market. But in your case, I believe it's not that case. Just raise the selling price if it is possible. Compare it again. Look at the competitors. If one of your competitive advantages was the lower price, so maybe you can find another one and raise your selling price. Think about it. The other options: reduce variable cost per unit or reduce fixed cost per unit. Again, maybe there's the possibility to move fixed cost to variable cost, or maybe you can just to search what kind of cost you really do not need, or maybe to evaluate the salary, the amount of salary you are paying, and compare it to the market situation again. Or maybe you do not need such a high price equipment for the start of your business, and you can start with a cheaper one. Just evaluate all the possibilities where you can reduce the variable of the fixed costs. And the last one, sell more. Evaluate the possibilities just to sell more. As we were talking, as I mentioned, when we're talking about the context evaluation, that you have to decide who are your target client, primarily target client, and what are the markets you're going to enter. So if you see that you have to sell much more compared with what you forecasted, then evaluate the possibilities to try to reach a bigger number of the clients, or to enter maybe additional markets in order to reach a break-even point faster. So how much money do you need for the first year? This is the question that we are here to answer today. So we already evaluated that we need to make a context evaluation in order to make an assumptions of the business you are going to work with. So after the context evaluation, we made a revenue forecast. We calculated all the costs, and at that time, we already in this example, again, we see that for a month we are not getting any revenues. We have only costs, and in the May the cost goes up because the sales starts, and it means that variable cost starts increasing as well, and we are calculating accumulated profit loss. It's the difference before total revenues and total cost, and all the minuses we get, we calculate it, and we see that in the first year of our projected business, we are going to accumulate almost 31,000 of loss. It means that we need funding here, but not the 31,000. Despite the fact how good your assumptions, how good you evaluated all the possibilities. There's always situations that cannot be expected, and they happen. I even saw such an marketing expect unexpected. So this is the case. Expect unexpected in your business, and it's always something small or bigger always happens. So then you are calculating how much money you need, and you have a result that your accumulated loss during the first year will be 31,000 euros. So add 20% of it. And this is the reserve in the investments you need for the situations that you haven't thought about. And in this case, we will have a result that funding needed is 37,000 euros. This is the amount we have to collect from our own, from our friends, family, from investors, funds, business angels, banks, wherever. There's a lot of options to do that, but one of the key things is to understand how much you need. Because again, when we are talking about business loan in the bank, there are a number of cases when clients is coming and they are asking how much you can give for me as a loan. And then they are asking how much do you need? And actually we see a situation that not everyone can answer to this question very specifically and with an assumptions. So if you will make those 4 steps we talked about, you will evaluate the context evaluation. You will make your revenues on cost forecast. You will calculate your break-even point. You will make a break-even point analysis, and again, you will evaluate, do you need to change something in order to reach it faster? Then you get this number plus 20%, how much funding you need. And you have all the answers, all the assumptions, and you are ready to, you will be ready, then you will make those 4 steps to answer and to make sure to gain trust of your business partners, of the bank representatives, that you understand your business, you know how much you need for your business to survive in the first year. So this is again our case. Expected revenue 43,000 euros, which we collected before. Step 5. In the beginning of the workshop, I told you that there will be 5th step, which I haven't told nothing about it, and it's actually seems that nothing else to add, because we already have a number, and you are already ready to present your business and to make sure that you understand the business, the financials of your business. And let's imagine the situation that you presented your case in the Futurepreneurs final event, or maybe out of scope of this program. You presented your case to the investors, to business partners, to banks, and you got a confirmation that they are going to invest in your business, or they are going to provide you a loan in order for you to move forward with your business case. And it seems the best part, and it seems that everything will go easy. But I would suggest to remember one thing, that situation is changing all the time. And actually, in one cases, when they are communicating with our companies, they provide the forecast for the next year, and after a year, we actually analyzing it. how the fact is in line with the forecast we provided. And in some cases, the facts exceed the forecast we had, and we can just congratulate the companies and to ask what they have done, how they reached such a good result. But sometimes companies are not able to reach those results because something unexpected has happened during the year. And in such situations, if you see that during the year that you made plan ABC, you made all the context evaluation, you made all the assumptions that you believe 100% in, but something has happened, something has changed. Maybe an additional competitor, an aggressive competitor came into the market, or maybe some legal requirements changed and you have to change your business model a little bit. Everything can happen during the year. So if that happened to you in your business, I suggest to communicate and stay open. And I'm serious here because business is about people, and we can trust each other and cooperate as long as we communicate, as long as we sharing our situations, not when we want something, and in the cases when something is going wrong. So if you have such situations, and even if it doesn't, you cannot show it in the financials yet, but you know that something will affect your business negatively, talk about it with your business partners, with the bank, with the funds who are investing in you. Talk about it before it shows in the results. The result shows the impact. Because in the bank as well, I had several situations that companies came and said they have some kind of changes in their business, and it will affect financials dramatically, and they are presenting the business plan. What are they going to do in order to solve the situation? But they need more time in order to do that. And in such cases, the trust they gave to the company and providing a loan, and they are searching for the decisions in this situation together. The other situation is when you are having this all negative information for yourself, and you just do not communicate it, and your business partners, the bank who are financing you, the investors, the funds, see this information just in the numbers, in your business financials as a result. And then I am asking for my clients what had happened, why your results had dropped so dramatically when we were expecting growth here. And the lesson here is, it is always better for you to come and to share the new situation and new reality, new plan ABC, and the action plan, how you are going to make it with the new conditions, not waiting while someone will ask you about the decreased financial results. So again, it's business is all about the people, and it is important to communicate here. So what we have talked about today, we were trying to find an answer, a way to try to an answer, how much money do you need for your business in the first year. So again, for you to remember the steps we made. The first one, the context evaluation. You have to evaluate your team. Is it experienced enough? Your product, what is your product? Why clients want to buy it? What are the competitive advantages of your product? whatever problems your product is solving. Who are your main clients, target clients? Make a target list, make a pipeline. Who are the main markets you are going to enter? Just again, evaluation on the context will help you to make all the assumptions in order to make cost and revenues forecast, and it will help you to evaluate your business from all of the sides, and to show to the bank, to the investors, to the funds that you are the expert of your business and you are not selling the idea of your business, but you evaluated all the risk possible, and you even found the ways how to solve them. The second step we made, revenue forecast. Here again, it's made all about the assumptions. So numbers, just numbers is nothing about the assumptions. And what is important about the forecast, again, remember that it's not equal to cash. So when you're thinking about revenues, you have to think that you have to know your client and you have to collect the payments for your sold goods and services. And if you can negotiate regarding as long payment term, delay, a short payment term for your clients, to negotiate regarding that. The faster clients pay to you, the faster you get money, and the higher your balance account, and you will be able to pay salaries and rent and accounting costs in time. The third step, we made cost forecast. Again, variable and fixed cost. If you have a possibility to have a bigger scope of variable cost, it is safer in the beginning of your business, because you are more flexible. And in case we have, for example, such a case like at the moment, a COVID-19 situation, you can react to such situation, and then your revenues drops significantly, your variable cost drops as well, and your accumulated loss is just smaller. So if you can move your variable cost, your fixed cost to variable cost, do that. And again, when we are talking about costs, so related to cash flow, negotiate with your suppliers as long payment term as it is possible, in order to balance the cash flow of your company. The step number 4, break-even point analysis. It makes actually 2 good things for you. The first one, you can see clearly how much units of your product or services you have to sell in order to reach 0 loss and to move forward to the profit. And secondly, you can evaluate how long, according to your sales projections, how long you will take to reach that break-even point. And again, it is you have to evaluate that the longer it takes, the more finances you need to raise. If you need to work 3 or 5 years to reach a break-even point, then please come back to the assumptions, to the forecast, and think what can be changed in order to reach this break-even point faster in the first or in the second year of your business. And the 5th step, our cherry on the cake, is remember to communicate and stay open, because again, business is about people. People are in your business, in your team, people are in the bank, people in the investment companies, in the funds, in the business angels. It's all about the people and about the trust you gain of those, and the others give to you. And you earn it with trust when you get a loan or investment into your business. So be sure to hold that trust by sharing new situations, new unexpected situations before it leads to worse financial results. So communicate and stay open. So thank you here. I will ask Julia maybe to join again. And of course, I would like to wish you good luck with your business ideas. And it even doesn't depend, are you going to win this Futurepreneurs workshops? Because if you believe in your business idea, you are doing here, you are creating here. So I just wish you to go forward with it and try to realize it. And I hope that there will be some valuable points that you catch here in order to make this happen. But of course, if you will have in the process some kind of specific questions that you would like to ask, or maybe to get some details about what I mentioned, so you can find me on LinkedIn or Facebook, all online platforms on top today, and just write me and ask the questions you maybe won't be able to provide today, because I see that we do not have questions in the chat. It was very simple and understandable, as I understand.
So yeah, if we do not have any questions, so thank you very much, Rasa, for this great workshop. I believe that every participant heard something new and useful. And the recording of this workshop will be available on our Facebook and YouTube pages, as well as on our website. So if you missed some part or just want to share this with someone and discuss, it will be possible soon. And at the same time, next Wednesday, we will host our final workshop called Pitch Essentials. The founding partner of Iron Wolf Capital, Tomas Martūnas, will tell you how to successfully pitch your idea to the investors. So thank you everyone for joining us today, and see you next week. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.